A tragic hit and run on Landover Road. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Our top story tonight is that deadly hit and run involving a stolen vehicle. It happened overnight in Cheverly. Byron Scott has more.
Investigators were still on the scene this morning trying to determine what caused the crash. Two cars, one a stolen Kia, collided with a Toyota Camry at the intersection of Landover Road and 63rd Place at around 2:30 this morning. The Toyota caught fire. The driver and a passenger in that car, a male and a female, died. Investigators say the Toyota was attempting to turn left onto Landover Road when the crash occurred. Police say the operator of the stolen Kia ran from the scene and is still on the loose. Police say so far this year, there have been more than 800 Kias reported stolen in Prince George's County. Anyone who may have information about this case is asked to contact Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. Byron Scott, CTV News.
In other news tonight, Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich today is praising Governor Wes Moore for his plans to improve the American Legion Bridge and create managed lanes along I-495 and I-270. The state has applied for a $2.4 billion federal grant to pay for the project. Elrich says he's pleased that the governor plans to first focus on the bridge.
When you've got a known plug from which the bottlenecks back up from, you fix the plug and then you figure out what you need to do along the rest of the way. But you can't get a true picture of how that road functions unless you remove the plug at the American Legion Bridge. And so this is really important. And I'm really glad that they're going after federal money. That was one of the great frustrations with Hogan. The cost of those enormous tolls was partly based on his refusal to get any federal grant money, which I found curious, baffling, and not good public policy. So I'm glad that this administration is starting with that approach.
And meantime, the state will conduct an environmental study of transportation needs of the I-270 area north of the Intercounty Connector. A Baltimore man is sentenced on a felony charge for his actions during the January 6th Capitol breach. 42-year-old Narayana Reiner was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and ordered to pay $2,000 in restitution. Reiner took an officer's riot shield, causing the officer to fall down several stairs to the ground. He was also part of the mob that broke into the Capitol, yelling at officers and attempting to gain access to a hallway that was blocked. To date, more than 1,100 people have been arrested for crimes that day. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, the inspiring story of a NASA engineer who is aiming for the stars. We'll be back in a moment.
This is the PACE space bus. I worked on OCI, which is the ocean coloring instrument, which is writing on the space bus. It's going to be used to map the ocean floor, and that's what I got started on my mechanical journey.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Welcome back. The search continues for the person in the car they stole with a 5-year-old child inside. It happened at about 6:15 last night at this mall on Watkins Park Drive in Upper Marlboro. Investigators say a mother left her child inside her 2018 white Mercedes GLC outside of a CVS. The vehicle was still running when a thief hopped in the car and sped off. A short while later, the suspect dropped the 5-year-old off unharmed at a nearby shopping center on Lake Arbor Way, and that's where the child was reunited with his parents. Anyone who may have information on the incident is asked to contact police. Montgomery County school officials say the investigation into former Principal Joe Beidelman will be unbiased and independent, and that the results will be made public. Despite numerous complaints that Beidelman sexually harassed and verbally abused staff at Farquhar Middle School, this past June he was promoted to principal at Paint Branch High School and received a salary increase.
Sexual harassment, bullying, intimidation, retaliation, any of those types of things are intolerable. And they're intolerable because they actually detract from the very thing that we defined in our school system was most important coming out of the pandemic. And that was to have nurturing environments for everyone.
We know that there is considerable concern in our community about both the allegations and the investigation of those allegations. The board has heard your concerns and is committed to a thorough, fair, and transparent process that leads to a better and stronger school system.
And the school system has hired a law firm to investigate the Beidelman controversy. Well, in less than 1 week, Prince George's Public Schools will be back in session, and tonight you have an opportunity to meet your new superintendent. Millard House will be at Bowie City Hall this evening for a meet and greet from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. You'll have the opportunity to ask House any questions you may have and meet other local parents. Again, the event will be at Bowie City Hall beginning at 6:30. While many young children dream big, not everyone achieves their goals. But hopefully that's not the case for one young engineer who has goals that are out of this world.
The first thing I ever made was a small dinosaur, and I remember it only because Lego prides himself on not missing pieces, and it was missing the whole tail.
Glenn Bazemore still has that dinosaur that's missing a body part. It's one of many projects he's put together, taken apart, or rebuilt over the years. At a young age, his parents showed him how gears worked, and he would modify model airplanes and create Bionicles, buildable Lego construction toys.
I would take them apart and make like submarines and mechanical working cars, and I figure, oh, how can I make them go faster or stronger or just work better? And it led me to mechanical stuff like metal and whatnot, where I took apart my dad's Kodak camera and put it back together, and I was 7 or 8, and it worked.
Bazemore says he was hooked on sci-fi and being a Jedi until he learned that it wasn't a real thing, and that's when he decided he wanted to be an astronaut.
As I got older, I found out how hard it was to become an astronaut and how difficult it was, so I was thinking, as a backup plan, what could I possibly do to help aid them or just work in the space field, so I decided on mechanical engineering.
Some would call Bazemore extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable about his specialty interests. Others might call him nerdy, a term that's grown on him over the years.
For a long time, I was against being called a nerd because I feel everyone's kind of oh, you're nerdy. I was yeah. So I try and stay away from it. But I hope humbly accept it because I wouldn't be the way I am if I didn't accept who I was. I'm at work sometimes. I'm working with the technicians. We talk about a Star Wars reference and it's right or wrong, and I kind of butt and say, well, actually, this is the correct term, and I go back to working. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty nerdy at times. We made resin printed mock-ups of these, which are going to be used to help open up the front shield, and this is going to be used to cover the opening of the mirrors that are going to be used to see cosmic entities or cosmic.
Being nerdy hasn't hurt Bazemore's career. The 26-year-old mechanical engineer just finished his master's degree in space systems engineering with a focus in aerospace and robotics.
We just finished the spare calibration unit, the WFI, or a subsystem on WFI spare calibration unit called SRCS, and it is used to make sure that the scientists can accurately see cosmic entities in space when they use Roman Space Telescope.
The Nancy Roman Space Telescope is the next generation telescope scheduled to be launched in 2027. It's expected to be 4 times more powerful than current technology. Meantime, Bazemore says he hopes to be part of the next generation of cosmic explorers.
So hopefully I become an astronaut. Hopefully the mission specialist, where you work the robotic arm or just the mechanical engineer in space for them, and that would be really cool. I heard a lot of lunar lander stuff is happening, so that'd be cool to be on that project and either be an astronaut or work on the mechanical workings of the lunar lander, or possibly go to Mars, but that's a lot farther away, so I don't know. I think the moon's probably a safer bet for right now.
And Bazemore also has his own 3D printing business. You can follow him on social media at Glenn Gineard. Well, the first African-American mayor of Bowie is seeking a second term. Tim Adams is hosting a re-election launch tonight in the city of Bowie. Adams is in his first term as mayor of the city and has more than 30 years of experience in business and government. Last election cycle, he ran an unsuccessful bid for Maryland Comptroller. And coming up later on the news, the Wednesday Sports Page Report with Simon Buggs. Stay tuned.
What's up, sports fans, and coming up soon, transfer player Caden Prather shares what it's been like being a part of the UMD football squad. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, we're on thin ice. And everything is going up in smoke. Our planet is under the weather. But when the going gets tough, the tough get, well, you know. Love it or lose it.
Well, the Prince George's Police Athletic League is hosting a back-to-school celebration. It will be giving out free stuffed backpacks to help get your child ready for the new school year, which starts on Monday. Kids will also be able to enjoy basketball and boxing drills, an obstacle course, a gaming truck, music, and much more.
Back to school event is an event for friends and families to come to partake in refreshments. We have different vendors, we have a game truck, and we have a lot of giveaways. We are partnering with Parks and Planning, who will be bringing skating activities, roller skating activities, along with Office of Community Relations, who we partner with as well, to just constantly be out in the community to show our support.
And the festivities will take place this Friday, August 25th from 5 until 8 in the evening. It takes place at the Police Department's District 3 station located at 7600 Barlow Road in Landover. Your child must be present to receive a backpack.
Hey sports fans, it's time for your Wednesday Sports Page. We'll start with some college football news. If you're a college athlete, transferring to another school can be very difficult. From learning a new playbook to establishing chemistry with your teammates, the whole process can be very challenging. And that's exactly what wide receiver Caden Prather is currently going through. Prather recently transferred from West Virginia to play for the Terps this fall, and the Maryland native spoke on what it's been like adjusting to a new offense.
The offense is definitely different from where I came from. You know, it's a lot more pro-like, so it wasn't the easiest thing adjusting to, but I'm a football player and got to make it work. So been in the playbook with the quarterback, other receivers, coaches, and my relationship with Leah is growing more and more every day. Ever since the first day of spring ball, we had a spark, so it can only get better.
Prather also touched on what factored into his decision to play so close to home.
Just what they do with receivers, like the proof is in the pudding. You know, Coach Locks didn't really have to say too much, on what he can do for me, because, at any other place he was at, it was great receivers, and he came here and he's always had a great receiver. So him and Coach Gaddis both are they're receiver guys, so it was easy for me.
Prather and the rest of the Terps will open up the season at home against Towson on September 2nd. Moving on to more college football news, if you're looking to show off your skills on the gridiron, then next month may be your time to shine. The Bowie State football team will be holding walk-on football tryouts on September 4th. Participants must be a full-time Bowie State student and in good academic standing. For more information, you can visit the website on your screen. Meanwhile, the Nationals took down the New York Yankees last night in a low-scoring ball game, 2-1. And the two teams will face off again tonight in New York at 7:05. The Baltimore Orioles also played last night, losing 6-3 to the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Birds will take the diamond again against Toronto tonight at 7:05 as well. And that is your Wednesday Sports Page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And that is CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.